Hi, welcome to my build of a 60-inch wingspan Avanti Pattern Plane. Well, I've been studying the plans on my wall for quite a while now, and just deciding how everything goes and how I'm going to build this. And I've now taken the plunge and started to prepare some of the components. I'm going to build the fuselage first. Previous builds I've always started on the wings, but I fancy doing the fuselage. I've already started to cut out some of the cross members out of 6mm ply. I'm cutting out everything by hand using either the fret saw and my support, or I'm going to be using a scalpel, a nice sharp scalpel with a new blade. What I did yesterday was I went through and cut out a lot of the pieces that I need for the fuselage, and also other pieces if they were of a similar size to the balsa that I was sticking them onto. So here I've got the pieces for the tail fin and the elevators on this 10mm balsa. I've also got some pieces here for the tail fin as well, I believe, and I've got a doubler and a wing seat stiffener, and a cross member there for the fuselage. What I did is I've just a water-based glue, and I've just stuck them on, cut them out, stuck them onto the balsa, and then made sure that the balsa doesn't, with the dampness, the balsa doesn't move, so I've piled them up. I put a bit of plastic between them, and then just put some weights on like this, just to make sure that they dry nice and flat. There's some more pieces here for the turtle deck, bit of fuselage, cross member, and I've also started to do the engine mounts. These are 10mm hardwood. I've got one gluing over here, which I've just this morning cut out. I'll show you these later. And you have to put a piece of balsa on here for shaping around the nose cone. So the fuselage on this is quite long. It's 52 inches, I believe, looking at the plans quickly, and so the lengths of 3mm balsa that you need for the side sheeting weren't long enough. So I've done a join here, and I'm going to make sure that join lines up with where I put the doublers and the wing seat stiffener, so that it doesn't suffer from a weakness. I've got the side, which I've cut out, and I need two of these, obviously. I think rather than glue this on as I've done with everything else, because it's so large, I'm probably just going to hold it in place, make sure this top edge is nice and level with the balsa, and then I'll probably just use a straight edge longer than this 3-foot one to cut these, and then I'll mark this out and cut it by hand, I think, because it's quite simple. There's no fancy bits on it other than just getting this wing cut out right. It's quite a big effort to go through and stick this on, and then I've got to remove it and sand it, try and sand it off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get on and start preparing all the parts, and we'll have a look at those once I've done them, and it'll be good to see them start to take shape. This is a part of the build that I really like. I know a lot of people don't like the preparation of things, the components, but I love cutting this stuff out by hand and preparing everything, and just getting everything ready to start the build. I really enjoy this bit, so I'm going to get on and do it now. I'm just cutting out all of the ribs now, and I'm just doing that by carefully going round with a very sharp new scalpel blade just around on the outside of the black line from these templates that I've stuck to this 2.5mm balsa. What I need to do is actually create two of these, so they're pairs of ribs, one for each wing, because it's a tapered wing. And the way I'm cutting out the second one, I thought I would just share with you. So here's one I've just done, and basically the ribs, as I said, it's 2.5mm balsa. So I've got the one with the paper template on. I will then put that on top of a piece of 2mm balsa, which I'm going to create another rib out of, and then I'll put a bit of scrap on the top and just stick it together with a couple of drawing pins. The drawing pins just marginally stick out of the bottom of this third piece of balsa, which is going to become the second rib, and that provides just a little bit of grip on the cutting mat, and then I'm using this as a template. So what I'm doing, I've got two drawing pins, got my scrap bit of balsa here, and I just put the scrap bit of balsa, make sure this is in a suitable location. Yep. I will then hold that in place with the two drawing pins. There we go. And I will then very carefully follow around the profile. I put on some stronger glasses to do this, and just very carefully not to cut into the pattern, the one I've already done. Usually takes a couple of cuts. There we go. Alright, turn that round. I think the trick with this is to have a really sharp scalpel and just to take it nice and steady and not rush. And as I said, a really good pair of glasses. Like I said, I put on slightly stronger prescription glasses than I need to do this, just because you really want to get it right. Okay, and then just this final little bit, and there we go. Okay, and now that just lifts out, and we have the two ribs together. They're still, you know, they're quite firm together, they're not going anywhere. And so what I can do now with my sanding block is just make sure any rough pieces, imperfections are taken off. When I actually pin this pattern onto the second piece, I haven't sanded them at that point. It's still just as it came out when I cut it. And there we go. And we have two identical ribs. The cutouts for the spars and for the leading edge, I'm actually using a razor saw, and I'm cutting down and then just taking it out with doing the last bit with a sharp scalpel. But anyway, that seems to be a good method that works well for me. Okay, well, I've got most of my wing pairs cut out now, and I've left them pinned together for the time being. I've sanded them, and they look nice. I've also cut out the slots for the spars, which is good. So you can see how this tapered wing starts to fit together. When you're building this, there's some jig blocks that they show you on the plan on some of the wings. I think there's there's four on each side. These little jig blocks that you can see that they suggest you make up, which holds it at the correct level on a flat surface for getting the wing right. So the way I'm making these jig blocks is I'm pinning the wing to a piece of 5mm balsa, just like this. So I've pinned the jig block and the wing, the jig block still being attached like on this one. I'm then cutting down this edge with my scalpel and cutting that edge with my scalpel, doing that one with my razor saw, fine razor saw. So I've got the two pieces. This piece I'm not bothered about. I still need to make my my second rib, but this now is going to form the basis of my jig block. So what I will do is just trim up this back edge here, trim up this front edge, and CA glue this together, and that will be my jig block, which I can then sit the wing on. Which I can then sit the wing on during construction. Just one final thing on the subject of these jig blocks. I've got loads of scrap 10mm balsa, and I've just CA'd a bit onto the side there. I thought rather than having it sort of about 7mm thick where it's going to be a bit wobbly when I'm trying to set up the wing, if I just CA a bit of this scrap 10mm balsa onto the side, and I've got loads of it from where I made a nose cowl recently, so I might even just stick another piece on that side as well, just so that it's really secure and it won't interfere with the wing as it sits on there, you know, it's or the rib. So I might just do that. Well, I think I've got as far as I can go now in the preparation. Any of the bits that I haven't cut out, it's because that I need to start building either the fuselage or the wings to know the exact size, and so I'm worried if I start cutting them out now I'll end up having to redo them. So I've done all the wing ribs, and I've got the wing jigs here, and there's another one over there. I've got the cross formers for the fuselage, and some of these are in ply, 3 of them in ply, but it's mostly balsa build. We've got the tail fin and the control surface for the tail fin. We've got the control surfaces for the tail plane, a bit more of the tail plane here, and we've got the fuselage sides. There's the wing seat supports, we've got the doublers for the fuselage, and we've got these lovely long sides for the fuselage itself. We have the engine mounts. These are hardwood engine mounts, and the balsa strips on here because it allows you to profile the nose once it's all constructed. Once you've built the fuselage, looking at the plans, there's a lot of balsa to come off the nose to get the profile nice and smooth. I've also left on the paper templates, and I'll remove that and do the final preparation of the components as I build. It's just easier to see which bits I've got and do the final prep then. So I'm excited to get on with this now and see it starting to take shape, and I hope you'll follow me in the next video and see the fuselage start to grow. That's the piece I'm going to do first, the fuselage, and then the wings, I think.